It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hi, Obiajilu.
Excellent morning.
With your hair. Every day is new hair.
Wahala for to get bones straight. I don't see you set me up again this morning. I'm doing amazing. It was a good weekend. My kids have resumed school. They have to get ready for the examinations. I don't know where they could write from home, so I had to go drop them off yesterday. They'll be from the house for a few weeks. For the exams, yeah. So everywhere is going to be lonely.
Right.
Yeah. But aside from that, I was very saddened with the death that happened to the rice farmers all the way in Borno State. It was disheartening. I saw the pictures. They were so gruesome. And I'm like, how can a human being be killed like this, dismembered and separated like this? I don't know what we can do about it, but I think it's time for the government to put their foot down and say enough is enough if they are serious about it.
Yeah, I think we're talking about it a bit later today, but definitely there's no Nigerian that can say that didn't hurt them. Nima, how are you? How was your weekend?
Great weekend. I actually had family visiting my kids and their cousins. It was fun, but the pictures will not just get off. Twitter was on fire. Yeah. Everybody was talking. Hashtag sack the service cheese. Hashtag, take action, and all of that happening on Twitter, and the pictures and the videos. And some people now started resurrecting old videos and all of that on Twitter. It was totally damning the whole enjoyment, and somebody still stole my baby rabbits.
Oh, in the midst of everything?
Yes, I usually let them out. They're not prisoners now. They should go for exercise. And in the night, I counted them in this one. My children's pets.
She's had rabbits.
I never knew that.
My children had pets. So they have 6 rabbits in total, and now they have 5. Because somebody stole one.
Sorry about that.
Losing rabbits.
I must say congratulations to TVC. TVC is now a gold standard employer. Hashtag a great place to work. Now, a lot of people might not know what that means, but that's a great deal. And I like to quote from the financial controller, her page, Victoria Ajayi. I like to quote what she said. She said, my organization didn't just bag 1 award. We went on with 4.
Wow.
The building, vehicles, broadcast equipment, work tools, etc. may have been burnt, but our spirits are not crushed. The people culture we've built is solid, and we'll continue to make it stronger. I thought it was important to read that because TVC started this journey called A Great Place to Work, getting international certified as a place which is fantastic for people to work, and that has also involved the employee, has made them part of the company, and is such a place and comfortable place to work. So congratulations to TVC.
Congratulations.
Over the weekend, they need to pick up the award, the CEO, and members of the team, came in the people manager. They call that people something now.
People's manager.
People manager. It's not the HR, but people manager. Kemi, I think Yinka, I saw Yinka. Ajijedidu was there, Mabel Aladinusi was there. I can't remember who else was there, and I think Taiwo Otitojutu was there. Congratulations to the entire team that's made this work. Congratulations to TVC. In the midst of it all, we're still celebrating.
Standing, yeah.
All right, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We'll start with the Vanguard today. Outrage over killing of 43 farmers and fishermen in Borno. Insecurity, why Amotekons ineffective in Southwest, says Afenifere and others. FGCBN points to result in economic recovery plan. Explosion rocks Governor Wike's father's church. Nationwide blackout as power grid collapses. 2023 APC leaders split over zoning control of party structure. Okay, which story are we taking? Let's start with the major headline. We're going to talk about it a bit later because it's our focus on Let's Talk.
Okay, Amotekun.
Go ahead, let's talk about Amotekun.
Yes, so Afenifere and a group of others are saying that Amotekun is not very effective in the southwest, and we know that one of the reasons that security outfit was reorganized or set up was because they wanted to fight insecurity in the states, and it was in Ondo State that a monarch was killed happened recently. We've had a foreigner abducted in Ekiti, and all the kidnappings have been going on. So, but some persons are saying that Amotekun is not fully effective because there's no free hand for operation. They have an issue with management on how to organize themselves. They do not have the proper ammunition to be able to carry out their work. They need vans. So it seems like the government are a bit cold. They are not really supporting the movement, and that's why they are not that effective. So they are appealing that, you know, all hands should be on deck.
Right.
We want to fight insecurity. Every governor of the Southwest should be involved in that.
Okay, let's take the out.
Yes, so, yes. According to Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company and Ekodisco, there was a total blackout, and in the papers, the TCN explained that this blackout happened, but they've restored power to everywhere except Calabar, Ugwaji, Makodi, Jos, Gombe, Yola, and Maiduguri axis, and that those places too would be restored very soon. But in Lagos, a large number of areas were reported to be in total blackouts still. As of this morning, I got reports of the Kola, Alagbado area into Lagos that they were still having total blackout in those
But it's
areas.
interesting to know that at least Ekodisco sent text messages. I was surprised. Me, I
didn't get it.
Are you under?
I'm under Ikeja. I was surprised when I saw they sent out text messages.
Wow.
You
You got it.
I'm under Ikeja.
Okay.
So if you've ever reported to Ekodisco before about your area, you have your name in their records. So as soon as that area is affected, or you get a
text message. Wow.
Then they tweet, so it's
Interesting.
a bit organized like that.
Moving on to the nation. Outrage over killings. Ajaokuta still needs 3 billion naira to hire Russian experts. 10,000 to get Kwara's Owarubu. IMF's unified exchange rate for Nigeria. 35 billion naira votes for maintenance of roads merger. And APC plans emergency NEC meeting for December 8th. Okay, as we said, the outrage over the killings, we talked about that. As I said, we're going to talk about it a bit later. But it's important to note that United Nations are saying that there were actually 110 people that, that were slaughtered. Although we have reports of 43 farmers who have been buried. But I do know that the governor of Borno State has obviously called on the need to actually reinforce and assist those who are the army, the soldiers that are there with vigilante to help them ensure to strengthen their operations there in the north.
So the IMF, asking us to have a unified exchange rate for Nigeria, compared the 378 naira to the dollar at the CBN official rate as compared to the 500 naira on at the parallel market, asking us, that we should do this to promote the to strengthen the naira first of all and to promote growth. Businesses and the CBN governor had this clash last week when he, how will I say it, confronted those who rolled out the figures on the parallel market, saying that market doesn't exist and all of that. But the reality is that it does exist.
It does exist.
And, it affects them.
And so IMF is also saying that the exchange rate, the rigidity in the exchange rate have constrained the economy's ability to absorb those external shocks. So they need to find a unified rate going forward.
Yes, so the Chairman Senate Committee on Mines and Steel Development has said that the Ajaokuta steel project will still need about 3 billion naira because they want to get Russian experts to be able to complete what they have started. And they are saying that they're trying to find a way to, I think, include it in the 2021 budget. And this is not the time for us to relax and feel we have spent so much money, because if we do not give this 3 billion for them to continue, get the Russian experts to work this, is going to get into comatose. They are also, may I quickly say that, they are also saying that the workers in that steel will likely not be getting their salaries from January next year.
If anybody knows what the Ajaokuta is in the history of Nigeria, that is a conduit pipe for losses. It's not made any gains over the years. Is if they are willing to concession the airports that people are contesting on the fact that he makes some profit. This is the kind of businesses they should be looking for total investors takeover and make an arrangement on how to make profit from taxing those businesses.
With you.
They should rethink it. 3 billion. Wow.
Anyway, I always say that government has no business in business, really. Daily Sun, Black Day in Borno. We talked about that. CSOs raise alarm over rumored second #NSAS protest. Black albums as National Grid collapses. Borno to military youth, you have enough to tackle insecurity. Stop using Ojuku's pictures for campaign. Bianca wants politicians. And please, I must say, they didn't show the picture Oh, my pastor is on the front page of this Daily Sun. Why didn't they show it? My parish pastor, Pastor Olugbemi, and his wife, Fadikemi Olugbemi, were on the front page. I don't know where they are. They're attending an event, but they're there with the governor and governor of CBN. But just had to mention that. Yes, let's talk about
the civil society organizations. Yes, Action for Good Governance, CAGG. They've raised alarm that there's a resuscitation of the NSAS protest that's happening, that a group of strong individuals are gathering people together and they are planning to go back on the streets to carry out a part 2 or phase 2 of the NSAS protest. So they are appealing that right now we do not need another protest, as it may. We do not, because we've not even survived from all of the destructions. We are still struggling a serious inflation right now. So this is not the time for us to go back on the streets. And they are appealing to the federal government to ensure that they speed up the, they've been they've constructed the panels already. They're trying to, give heed to the 5 demands or more than all the demands that the NSAS protesters have given. So they're asking the federal government to speed it up so that people can be rest assured that the government is answering them and not go back on the streets. We cannot afford to have that right now.
Okay, and Bianca,
I wanted to take the
3 arrested. Governor Wike's father's church.
So yes, a church was attacked by 3 suspected hoodlums, and they were arrested by the vigilante in the area. 3 people have been arrested. They are helping in the investigation, but it's a church. Because just like that, another church was reported to have been attacked during their vigil over the weekend, and one person was attacked, was kidnapped in Ogun State. Not Wike's father's church.
Oh, but that's
Please,
what the paper said.
All the papers are criticizing all of them for the kind of reporting that they did this morning, following the killings that happened in Borno last.
So it was not his father's church?
No, it's his father's church. I'm just saying, why Wike's father's church?
Okay, it's a church.
Somebody's church too in Ogun State was attacked.
Okay.
They kidnapped somebody there. It's not somebody's that they know church, so nobody, So
mention
please, that kind
like
of
that.
report, one head is not better than another. It's somebody's church that was attacked. Some people were killed.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune, Borno, rice farmers, at least 110 killed, says United Nations. Drunk policeman in trending video arrested. Blackout as system collapse hits national grid. Let's find a story of nothing. Vigilante arrests 3 suspects for dynamite attack on Wike's father's church. You said that.
This week,
40 billionaire earned allowance. SANU wants against releasing funds to ASU. Vows to resist Utah's platforms for salary payments. And 25 million Nigerians to own 5 billion solar panels at 4,000 naira monthly. Okay, which story are we taking?
The viral
the drunk
video of the drunk policeman. I'm sure most of us saw that video. But the FCT Police Command on Sunday, because this happened in CBN Junction in Abuja, has identified the policeman. They've taken him into custody. They are planning to evaluate him, mental and psychological evaluation, in preparation for a disciplinary action against him. That this is not, so the police is saying that this is not their modus operandi. They are actually more, they are shown to be more effective than that. So he's going to be punished for it.
Go ahead.
25 million Nigerians to own about 5 million solar panels at the end of a 4-year period, as announced by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Vice President's office, Mr. Laola Konde, who announced that in trying to meet up areas that are not on the grid, the federal government have planned to do solar panel distribution, and they are going to do it for as low as 4,000 naira monthly. So you pay over a 4-year period and eventually own your own solar panels. And
so this is being carried out under the Economic Sustainable Plan, and it's going to be mostly for the Rural Electrification Agency, that's for the rural areas, those who are totally disconnected from the grid, from the national grid. So hopefully to help the poor farmers, especially those in that area. Okay, let's, can we have time for one more paper? The Guardian, investors split on duty cut for imported vehicles. That's a major headline in The Guardian. I think it's important because last week we took that story where Nigerian assemblies, car assembly company were complaining that cutting down on the import vehicles for imported vehicles is going to harm their own businesses. Yeah. But others are saying that it's a good thing for the. Do you have that story?
Yes, that's exactly what the story said. So I want to get the figures. So they are going to be, according to the federal government, they are proposing a reduction on the duties on tractors, 35% to 10%, vehicles that carry goods, 35% to 10%. Then vehicles that carry human beings is 35% to 5%. And a lot of people are saying that this is actually very good. It's going to ease transportation, reduce the cost in businesses. The people who are trying to assemble cars in Nigeria are saying that this is going to affect their business totally. We were trying to revitalize how we can start not just being a consumer nation, but a productive, you know,
but the truth is
producing nation.
So the rationale is that those of you that are assembling and producing cars, many Nigerians can't afford those cars anyway. Yeah. So those who have the business of importing, why don't you allow them to import freely at a cheaper rate, so that at least the economy can function? Because right now we need everything to survive the economy. Yeah. So the arguments are back and forth. But either way, we'll see which way we're going to focus on. Now, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, still on the issue of imports, federal government moves to reopen land borders. What's your take on this? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So, since the implementation of the President Muhammadu Buhari's order on Nigeria's land border closure, the nation's micro and macro economy has never been the same. 15 months down the line, with the country currently going through its worst economic recession in 40 years. The land borders are about to be opened for business activities. What are your thoughts on this? Joining us on the show is an economist, Tajuddin Akonde, is the managing partner at PKF Nigeria. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, so let's start with this issue of the possible border opening, because many investors have complained that Nigeria's ping-pong policy has totally dissuaded many from coming into the Nigerian economy. So in your view, last year, August 2019, we closed the borders. Now we're about to open the borders. In your view, do you think the reasons why we closed the border have been achieved, or do you think we're at the point where we can actually now easily open the land borders? Hello, sir, are you there?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you recall, the federal government announced border closure, I think, first about August 2019, and there were reasons which were adduced for the action. First among these was the issue of smuggling across the border, especially food items that Nigeria, is producing and not producing enough to meet local demand. And so you find that in an attempt, the gap created between the local production and the demand was being filled by goods, food items that were brought across the border illegally. Apart from that, there is also the issue of smuggling from Nigeria across to the neighboring West African countries, especially petroleum products. And we know the journey we have traveled regarding the pricing of petrol. The price of petrol in Nigeria, being a oil-producing nation, is even at current price and exchange rate, translates to about 40 cents. And in those neighboring countries, the reports are that it's anything above $1. So for marketers, even though they are being compelled under the price control regime to sell at certain prices, the federal government was actually picking the bill for the price differential in terms of subsidy. And the huge amount that we were incurring on subsidy. Having collected subsidy, you now find a situation that rather than sell to Nigerians at the 145, 150, 160, which is about 40 cents, it's moved across the border to be sold at $1 or above $1, thereby maximizing profit at the expense of Nigeria. When Nigeria went into difficulty in 2016, 2017, one of the policy response from government was to introduce some control in terms of FX allocation and restriction on importation. The experience was that many of these items were finding their way into the country through those borders. Now, the concern for many was this was announced shortly after Nigeria signed the Africa Continental Free Trade Cooperation Agreement. And so there was that concern that the intention of economic integration in Africa is being, sabotaged by the biggest nation, the largest economy in Africa. But the magnitude of the amount of revenue that the nation was losing from collection of import duties, because the statistics that were in the open there did not actually reflect the reality. In terms of the statistics, you have it reported that the trade between Nigeria and Benin Republic, for instance, is about 5% of export and 2%. But we know that all over West Africa, the informal sector accounts for over 50% of GDP.
All right.
And about 70% of the economy of Benin Republic. For Nigeria, when government took this action, one of the justifications also was that our trade, in terms of our foreign trade, only about 16% of our trade is with West Africa. The large portion of that trade is with Europe and Asia. So ordinarily, you will say there's no impact. Now, why will we be considering reopening the border now? Have we achieved the objective? Have we been able to secure the border more than we were? The production of items like rice, are we able to meet local production? I doubt whether that has happened. But one of the consequences of the closure was the increase in the general price level of these staple foods. And it means it is the ordinary Nigerians that were suffering. During those periods, there were no contingency or palliative to pushing the effect of the stoppage, the gap.
Okay, let me get a few more questions in for you.
We are not really ready to fill that gap in terms of demand and local production. So I guess the government, as we move toward the festivities, may be trying to react to the issue of high prices and the effect on Nigerians.
All right.
So yes, there are, prices are high everywhere for food commodities in Nigeria. But one of the benefits of border closure is that businesses picked up. I also went into rice last year because of the border closure. So a lot of businesses picked up. A lot of people are doing well in their areas of businesses. And now that we are trying to reopen the border, we are not taking care of the main reason why most of these farmers, their prices went up, which is, of course, insecurity. We just lost 43 rice farmers yesterday. They've been having difficulties accessing their farms, even taking their products to millers and all of that. What is the federal government doing about that insecurity? And how important is that to, in the scheme of things?
Of course, we cannot discount security. I mean, everybody needs a secure environment to be able to operate. Not just the farmers, the consumers, the household. Security is essential. And one of the duties of government is to secure the lives and properties of the citizens. How do you work, with your mind addressed or efficiently when every minute you're looking over your shoulder, whether you're going to be attacked, whether your farm is going to be invaded, whether the armed bandits will raise your village in the night. So security is key, security is essential, and we cannot, say it louder, or we cannot overemphasize the need for government to address the issue of insecurity.
Okay.
Whether we close the border from now till forever, we must have a secure border for the secure.
All right,
we cannot close the border forever.
All right.
Because there must be freedom of movement of goods.
Right.
ECOWAS came in 1975.
Let me go on a quick break, sir. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So, according to reports I read earlier, villagers in northeast Nigeria, Borno State, on Sunday buried 43 farmers that were killed in an attack by suspected Islamist militants, while security forces searched for dozens of people who are still missing. We're trying to get a lawmaker representing Jere Federal Constituency, Honourable Satomi Alhaji Ahmad. He was supposed to be our guest this morning. We're still waiting for him to pick up his calls. Hopefully we'll speak to him in a moment. But in the meantime, you can call us on 090-241-6344. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read the tweet. So many Nigerians obviously took to Twitter and social media yesterday, over the weekend. And many people were really angered about the killings and the burial of those 43. United Nations have said they are saying 110 people. The villagers have actually also confirmed that there are many more people missing. And what is even most disheartening is our president didn't speak to us. As usual, he spoke through Garba Shehu, saying that they've given the army all they need to do their job or to keep that community safe. Now, I don't know why it's so difficult for our president to, I mean, in other countries, 1 or 2 persons die, and you see the man at the helm of affairs come out to take responsibility or tell us exactly what he's going to do. 43 people were buried right in our country. And our president is speaking through the Garba Shehu, he's a special advisor on media, and saying that they're giving the army all they need to do their job. And they are quite disheartened, they're quite pained about what happened, and they send their condolences. We've gotten one too many of these condolences on the federal government, don't you think?
I think they've mastered the art of mourning. So usually mourning the loss, condemn and all of that. But your comment now and the comments I read on Twitter, one thing came to mind, that rather than react to the horror that the people who survived had to witness and the kind of gruesome murder that the people who died suffered, the president will react to what you said. He will react to you asking him to do the right thing, the most important thing, which is, of course, you failed to secure the lives of the people, which is one of the most important jobs that you have as a leader. But then you will react to the people asking you to even respond.
To do your job.
When the hashtag #EndSARS started, the comments were reacting to people asking, are you going to address us? They were not addressing the issues. Now we sit down and videos and pictures, whether or not, because tomorrow morning now we have the Minister for Information come and tell us that, they were made doctors and all of that. But pictures surfaced of people slaughtered and tied and slaughtered. And we have 16 females missing from the farm. According to the report, 15 or 16 of them missing from the farm, according to the reports now. We have people that, we saw the bodies lined up for Islamic burial. Immediately,
so once we know, because as you said,
before they will say the governor,
they will say,
doctor those pictures, and videos and all of that, and that we are just overreacting. Nigerians, it's just 1, 2, 3. They will start to count bodies as if lives and death is something that you joke around. This happened, and we don't need politicking in the face of our people like this. You know what I call this one? This is an attack on our economy, whether we like it or not. The hoodlums that attack the trucks carrying onions and cost Nigerians onions. And then we have a rice attack. This has happened before when farmers could no longer sell their cattle. And we had the salary going up, like people could not even buy them.
Interestingly, this is 5,000-acre farmland, and they've only harvested about 25%. So there's a huge 75% left. And now that entire farm is filled with blood of Nigerians.
We have been complaining that we don't have enough food. People are struggling to eat. People are struggling to fend for themselves. Now, these are people who went out to work on a particular day to earn a living, and then their lives were taken. I expect more from the president. It's unfortunate that things are happening the way it is, but I should have seen the anger from the president. I should have seen the president coming out to speak, to tell us that the people who he had put at the helm of affairs to handle the problems of insecurity have failed us woefully, and he has to do something about it. I don't want to repeat what people are saying, that why is it impossible for him to sack the service chiefs? If you are working in a corporation and you're not delivering, they let you go. They get people who are competent to take over that job. Now, why does it seem like
it's looking like the president doesn't care because it has not reached him. You know, when death comes close to you, that's when you understand what people are going through. But because the people at the helm of affairs are somehow protected, they do not feel what we are feeling. They don't understand what it is for people to lose. Do you know? Do you even imagine the number of people who will be motherless right now, who will be fatherless right now? We have our IDPs. We have. Did you see a video recently? I saw a video recently on the IDPs and how those children suffer from no food to eat, no water to bathe, nothing. Those kids now who have lost their parents in that farm will likely be shipped off to the IDPs.
Now we got an unconfirmed report. I'm not sure how this is true, that the commanding officer in charge of that region was let go. But the community isn't happy about that. They're saying that is beyond the Nigerians are asking is beyond sacking the commanding officer.
We have laws that have made sure that our service chiefs have overspent their time. We have laws that have made sure that they recycle, they move them out and bring in new fresh heads. That we can. The laws are there and they've already expired. They used up their time, but we will not change them. You know what pains me is that we will not have a closed door meeting. You can predict Nigeria. Yes. President will not have a closed door meeting.
They set up a committee. They set up a committee.
Come out and question, like he said in the paper this morning, I have given them all that they need to do their job, but they are not doing their job, but there will be no consequences. And then you have a closed door meeting with them, still no consequences. You will now come out and they will address the press and saying that they will up their game, they're on top of it, and will lose more lives.
And again, they will now set up a committee to investigate, to tell us what we already know that is already.
How about president go without the service chiefs now? That kind of person, who is in charge of the local area that he was sacked, pick 2-3 soldiers in the front, on the face of the, on the forefront of these issues themselves, and question them. What is your welfare? What are the? Are you protected?
We have guns.
And ask whether or not we are truly equipping these people and they are doing enough.
We have to go on a break. Hopefully, I'm hoping that when we come back, we can have our lawmaker, because in other countries, these are grounds for impeachment. When the presidency is not working, these are things that you can take to national and say, you know what, everybody, this government isn't working. So let's go on a break and hear what the lawmaker has to say. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us Federal Constituency Honourable Satomi Alhaji Ahmad to give us his own insights on what happened. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there.
Yes. Before we ask you what you're going to do, what could you share with us your experience? What did you hear? Because that's your own region. Could you confirm the figures to us? What happened in the community, and what reports you've gotten so far?
Thank you very much. Actually, it was a sad day on Saturday. People of our community from the Almari who are having their local businesses in their farmlands in nearby village called Koshede at the Borno of Jere was attacked by Boko Haram. And then up to this moment, as I am talking to you, I am right now inside the Almari, receiving condolence from the senator representing the constituency, senatorial zone. But the figures are still counting. I'm sure as of yesterday, we buried in the locality 9 farmers. I'm just receiving another.
Sorry, we didn't get that. We're having trouble getting the clarity. So you said as of yesterday, what happened? What were the figures?
Yesterday, 34 we buried inside the Marita.
Okay.
And then 9 was buried in farmland.
Okay.
In the bush. And then this morning, we have some figures, unconfirmed figures. And just now, as I am speaking to you, I learned that I was told there is about 30 more corpses and even more that needs to be evacuated. The military, because of the waterlogged nature of the terrain, are looking for some tractors and heavy equipment to move into the farm to evacuate.
Honourable.
For so far, from our figures, those people missing are over 70 so far. Missing. But the recovered corpse that was buried yesterday is 34 and the 9 making 43.
Honourable, could you give us an idea the kind of security you have in that region? Do you have army? Do you have police? Do you have vigilante?
Yeah, army and the vigilante are there,
But you know, the farmland is outskirts of Zabarmari, and Zabarmari was relatively free for the first couple of months. Like 8 months, there was no attack in Zabarmari, and then the people have developed confidence that things are normal and it's as usual. So, but the Boko Haram gathered them, and then in a retaliation that they are giving information to military. I think this is what they said, and that's why they tactically and summarily executed this atrocity by slaughtering our people onto unidentified actual figure. But from what we are receiving now, the figures are still increasing beyond that of yesterday. And the securities are there, but you know, in the farmland you cannot go all the places to give security cover to every individual or farmland. But I think we need to, the military, the police and the security intelligence need to change their tactics. Looking at this new thing, because they are fighting a guerrilla war, they must involve the locals. And the locals must be recruited into the mainstream military or police or the agro rangers of the civil defense, so that they can go to their farm and also they will protect themselves by, you know, working with the young people and the vigilantes.
Okay. All right.
So, sir, this is an emergency, and I expect that all hands should be on deck at the moment. So, what is the plan? What's the governor doing about this right now?
The governor, as of yesterday, and then pledged with the federal government for an immediate solution. But as of the governor yesterday, we are now gathering vigilantes and civilian JTF hunters, so that I think the major concern of the community now is that we have cultivated more than 10,000 hectares. More than 10,000 acres, around 5,000 hectares. So therefore, and this is the harvest time, they did not harvest even 10% of what they have planted in the first couple of months. And those people mostly kids were just ordinary people that they work in the farm and they save with a little amount for them to survive. So it's very unfortunate. So the federal government has to wake up in the corn and look at the security particularly of the intelligence gathering, to work with the intelligence that's treated to the military by the DSS and other security formations. Because I believe there was a security alert prior to this attack. Had it has been built up and then such kind of thing will be curtailed. So, but because of the nature of the guerrilla war and the terrorist attack tends to be very much dynamic, then they change suddenly. That's why we need to proactively, the military has to look for other tactical engagement of these terrorist groups. If not, it's going to be too bad, particularly for the villagers that have been advocated by the federal government of Nigeria to go back to farm, and they responded and went to farm. But look at what is happening now.
Okay, let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
Of the United Nations, they are saying it was outrageous, even of 100 plus. So this is very sensitive, and we need a quick intervention from the federal government.
This is not the first time that, you know, a village will be taken over by bandits, Boko Haram, or whatever these guys that they come in form of. And, you know, the federal government will come out and say some things. The last one that happened, they even had the entire village set on fire and people killed, and it was reported just recently, if you know, I think this year or late last year, and nothing concrete was done. Did you have any further beef up of security by the federal government in all these villages that you could sincerely see?
It's not time for an action. It's not a time for lamentation, or it's not a time for saying that we will do A, B, or sorry, or condemn. It's time to re-strategize and look at the entire security architecture of the nation.
Exactly. Would you call for the sake of the service chiefs?
Not only in Borno State. Out of the 44 people buried yesterday in Zabarmari, 21 are from Zamfara, Kano, and other parts of the state. They came to look for the means of livelihood because of the nature of the environment and the terrain.
Honourable Satomi, Nigerians are calling for the sack of the service chiefs. Do you agree with them?
Pardon?
Nigerians are calling for the sack of all the service chiefs. Do you agree with them?
this is not about searching of the service chief. What I am saying is overhauling the entire security structure, like restructuring it. Because what we are doing is obsolete. It's not about searching of the service chief. It's about how much we are prepared. Where is the political will for all the leaders, for us to wear our thinking up and to see how we're going to address this contemporary crisis at hand in the nation, ranging from the kidnapping, armed banditry, and then other form of violence across the nation. It's not about fighting of the service chief, it's just one factor. If somebody will come with a new then how will you going to
Honourable Satomi,
where is the guy?
As a lawmaker, you have some powers. Your counterparts across the world, at times like these, they have tools within the federal government, the legislature, they can use to demand change. What tools do you have at your disposal as a federal lawmaker to begin to have change, to get change for your people in your constituency?
I can tell you authoritatively that in the first couple of 19 months, from last year, 2019, June to date, we have deliberated in the floor of the House more than 200 security issues. How many were implemented? So it's an issue of its time for all of us to wear our thinking. Are dying, and we cannot continue like that. The executive must take action, must take resolution and deliberation from the National Assembly.
Honourable
Sir. Yes?
One of the ways, to deal with this is, of course, to believe that the executive has failed. As a lawmaker, you have the powers to impeach and remove, based on gross misconduct. Is this not enough grounds to qualify as a gross misconduct of the executive or the president right now?
I think it has a process. The process of legislation is stage by stage. And at the first stage, ours is to pass a resolution and looking at the committees of the various security formations to come with their deliberations and observations and their findings. Because some of the problem, you cannot only challenge to the executives only, but at times, if I can quote, there was a time the military high formation said they did not appoint themselves. So for me, as a legislator, I wouldn't mind if we can call Mr. President to explain to the National Assembly what are his structural plan for the nation's security situation.
Exactly.
These are kind of the key at this material
Exactly.
time for us to consider and talking without an action. So therefore, sacking or sending of the service chief will not solve this problem.
Right.
We have to look at it entirely across the nation, looking at the welfare of the frontline armies, looking at what we need. The Boko Haram are not superior than our Nigerian army. It's a question that everybody is asking me when I leave Nigeria. We have been in Sierra Leone, we have been in Liberia, we came with a medal. What is happening here? So definitely something is wrong somewhere beyond the sacking of the service.
Okay, sir. Yeah, so do you think that the army is currently overwhelmed? Because I do not understand how they cannot trace where these Boko Haram people are. And they have, you can actually get the information from villagers who live around. So what exactly is happening? Are they overwhelmed? Is their welfare system encouraging enough for them to want to risk their lives to protect other people?
They are overwhelmed, believing, looking at all forms of crisis across the nation. I believe that they are overwhelmed. But funding is also an issue. Welfare of the frontline armies is also an issue. Changing tactics outside the rule of engagement of the current situation we have at hand is an issue. And let us appreciate them because we are fighting a guerrilla war. The tactics changes and varies day in night from the militants, from the bandits, and from the Boko Haram. So therefore, I believe that if we want to curtail this issue once and for all, we need to address the remote causes and looking at the entire security architecture. But funding is an issue, and I believe there is a funding. If there is a funding, then where is the problem? I know they have a deficit of manpower. They are overstretched, which is very obvious.
The president said this morning in the papers that they are more than equipped, and he has provided all that they need to secure the country, questioning the security apparatus in the country. Would you support?
If the president has said so, then he has to find out where is the problem.
Exactly.
Why they cannot
where the leakages.
Yes. So would you support the rehabilitation of repentant Boko Haram at this point when I believe personally that, you know, our intelligence, that the Boko Haram intelligence is stronger than ours with the way they can, you know...
No, I didn't agree that they are stronger than ours, but I believe that they are more committed. The commitment and the sacrifice, they believe that they are fighting for a sect. They believe that they are fighting for a religion. So therefore, we must adopt new tactics of approaching. One of these is the recruitment of the locals, inject them into the mainstream Nigerian police army or the Agro Rangers. And secondly, the welfare of the frontline armies that sacrifice their lives, leave their family, stay in the bush, and they're supposed to have all the required tools for them to face the Boko Haram. So therefore, I think it's a time, if the president says that he has given them everything, it's high time for him to check what is happening, what is wrong. So something is wrong.
Honourable, we have to wrap up. We have to wrap up soon, but it's almost unimaginable because when these bandits come, when the Boko Haram militants come, they usually operate for 3, 4, 5 hours. I don't understand how this can happen in your constituency where you have security operatives. Yes, they are stretched thin, but wasn't there any kind of repeal that happened? Were they even approached by the military even try to repeal the acts of these militants in any way? Was there a back and forth with them?
Boko Haram.
Was there any resistance at all?
Of course. This is very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but I think I tell you, there was a guerrilla war they are fighting. Changes tends to take that. But the major problem now is, we said it several times on the floor of the house, the super camp is not a welcoming idea for this operation, fighting of this crisis. We have to take the fight to the enclaves of the Boko Haram. I think there is a means that we can look for other ways, such as dialogue, strengthening the social cohesion between the locals and Nigerian military and the repentant Boko Haram. And in other aspects, let's engage even the repentant, those that are willing to volunteer. Because I have an information, some are willing to volunteer to fight and to assist the Nigerian military for them to take the enclave of the Boko Haram to end of this crisis. But believe me, without engaging the locals, the young agile Borno State youth that sacrifice their life into the mainstream of the Nigerian army. And one important truth is, let's understand, those in the front line of the Boko Haram, looking at the long, decade-old crisis, virtually when this crisis started, there are about 8-9 years. There are 9 now 8. So which means they have never seen even a constituted authority. They don't know anything in this world. They are just fighting for a cause that they were brainwashed.
All right, we have to wrap up, sir. Honourable Satomi, we have to wrap up at this point.
So therefore, I think the solution is we need to restructure and look at entire security architecture of the nation. And let the president without any plan, let's send to the Nigerians that this are his plan.
Thank you so much, Honourable Satomi. Our hearts really go out to the families of those that have been killed, and we really express our condolences at this time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really sad. Really, really sad. 43 people slaughtered in our presence. And it is saying that compared to this morning, they are getting about 30 cops. And they are still looking for more people. I mean, I don't think Vera had it this bad. So we really need to demand from the federal government and security officers to let us know what's going on.
The number of people who would you require to carry out that amount of murder.
Yeah, were they not seen for how long they operated?
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. That's all we can take on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.